Hi, I'm Curran Bhatia. Welcome to Newark, New Jersey. We're in the Prudential Center getting you some content, some interviews. First up, we're going to visit the OTX brand and some of the people behind it. And then I'll be speaking to Polish fighter Adam Kownacki. He's a warrior in the ring. We're going to chat with him. Stay with us. Curran Bhatia here with Britton Hardin, Brendan Segalas, representing Overtime Boxing. We've been watching the Overtime brand. Britton, let me start with you. We've been watching the Overtime brand explode. We knew that it would because of the success that Overtime has had in other sports, in basketball and football. And a big part of that is tapping into the community, the younger generation, the storytelling. So how has it come together through your eyes, this OTX brand?
I mean, it's come together beautifully. It's what started as some whiteboarding sessions and just some ideas around how we could be different in the sport. It's all come together very well. And like you said, our brand is built on storytelling. It's built on building grassroots, real relationships in these communities that we decide to go into, you know? So we just knew that we could amplify stories. We knew that we could tell them in a different way. And we knew that there was a generation of fight fans who had not seen the sport of boxing in a way that we could present it.
That's really what it is, because people love to watch fighting. They just need to have the storylines in front of them to follow their favorite fighters. And let me turn to you, Brandon. So we know Britton is fighter ops. You handle matchmaking. Yeah. So tell me, what are when you're putting together matches for Overtime? What's the process like, and what is your thought process like?
The process is really, it depends on the fighter and where they're at in their career. So obviously at Overtime we have a lot of young fighters that we're developing. So we have the responsibility to bring them up properly. So give them different experiences, different opponents that are going to get them ready when they're in with that sort of step up fight, bigger opponent. And at the same time, you can't just have total A-side fights because that's boring. People watch sports because they want competition.
Right.
So we need to have those 50-50 type matchups and fights that are matched tightly, because really that's just, when you watch sports only for that reason. So we need a mix of competition and then seeing these young guys develop on the card.
How many times do you hear that in NFL? You want parity, right? In boxing, you want competitive matchups. You guys are doing that. Let me ask you this, Britton. So we know that Overtime changed also the rule set in boxing in a way, or at least leverage different ideas, right, that hadn't been executed properly in the past. We know about the Overtime round, the bonuses, things like that. So what was, how did it come together in terms of the thought process to, hey, let's also enhance the sport through different rule sets, and how has that played out?
Every other sport that we know of, basketball, football, baseball, they've all evolved. They've all developed different, innovations to attract new and expansive audiences. Yeah. Boxing, while it's amazing and it's great, is the only sport that's been a little stuck in the mud in that area. So it really was simple. We did some surveys, really, it was like some text threads, right? Just some friends of ours. What would attract you to the sport of boxing, and what's a detraction from the sport of boxing? Yeah. And we got a really, small sample sizes of some things. Instead of these large rings, let's shrink the ring and make some action. We see tonight we've had some amazing matching, because they have a smaller ring. And, hint, I don't know where they may have got that idea from, but it does encourage action. And one thing you can't deny is that fighters are prize fighters, are fighting for a prize. You give them a bigger prize. If you get a knockout, they're going to go and they're going to work a little bit harder for that. And no one likes a draw, right? You put a fighter in a training camp for 3 months, and what he has to show for all of that is a draw? No. So we love to implement the Overtime round, because every fighter and every fight and every fight fan deserves finality. And that's why we added the rules that we have.
It really is innovative, because if you look at boxing, 10 rounds or 12 rounds, right? Those are even numbers. We don't want even numbers, and the Overtime round obviously plays a huge part in that. Let me ask you this: we've seen stars, Brendan, come out of this platform. Yeah. Who are some of the bigger names that have made their way out of OTX now and become stars because of the OTX platform? And how much do you think that has to do with being in that ecosystem?
Well, I can point to a few guys I think have really shined just being on Overtime. I think the obvious one is Kurt Scobie, who, he came out with a bang. His first fight, August of 2023, knocked out Narciso Carmona. Then he had a major setback against Dakota Linger. And now he's on the road where he's had maybe 4 or 5 wins in a row. But basically, he's someone that understands what Overtime's about. He gets the social media aspect. He sort of just understands who we are and who our fans are. So he's done a good job sort of getting his name out there. And then an obvious one is Andreas Katsarakis, the 154-pound tournament champion. We did a tournament with 8 fighters, 154 pounds, and all tough competitive fights through there. And now Katz, he won. He's had 1 win since then, and we're just starting to get the big offers for him, and he's really in contention at 154. So those are 2 of the guys, but we have a lot of younger talent, I think, that are going to start to emerge, but those are 2 that stand out.
It's great for...
If I didn't mention our 2 world champions that we have on our roster in under 2 years of being a boxing promotion, and we're incredibly proud of O'Shea Jones and Tiara Brown, able to step into their careers at pivotal points and help them and enhance their careers and get them to world title opportunities and to bring those titles home. It means a lot to us at OTX to represent them. And, it's just undeniable that we have good matchmaking. We know what we're doing in the sport on top of the story amplification and being able to just execute on these bigger opportunities for the fighters.
And you've been executing, and I was going to say it's great for fighters to have that platform, because for so long it's been that same route where it's like you sign with a promoter, maybe you do local shows, you don't have the best competition, and then you go maybe to like a big pay-per-view or something, and it hasn't been the best path. Now there's this platform there to help actually build these fighters. I'm going to ask you guys one question to close it out, because as you can hear, we're here at a live fight. We heard the national anthem, so I know the main event is coming up next. What does the future hold for Overtime? What can we expect to see next?
Bigger shows, bigger venues, bigger stars. I think that we've already proven in a very short amount of time that we know what we're doing here and that we're here to stay, right? And I think the next step of that, without saying too much, is we've already established that this is the home of the next star in boxing, right? It's how do we amplify that and how do we get to success quicker?
Absolutely. Same question to you, just to close it out, Brandon. What does the future hold for OTX in your mind?
2 things. I think us emerging more as a promotion and getting involved much more with larger promoters such as Top Rank, Queensbury, Matchroom, and sort of helping breed that next level of talent and getting to that stage. And then also just a lot of awesome fights, because we're going to announce the show shortly. Atlanta is going to be awesome. A lot of hometown fights. So, yeah, just constant excitement, man. That's what the sport's about. So,
love seeing those fans in Atlanta supporting the OTX brand. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to let you guys go because I know we got a live fight. But thank you, Britton. Thank you, Brendan. Stay tuned to OTX. Curran Bhatia here in Newark, New Jersey, Prudential Center with Adam Kownacki. Adam, we know you're enjoying the festivities here. Who are you here to see tonight?
Viro and Klibas, he was fighting fought earlier, so 2 Polish guys that came out to support.
Can you talk about the Polish community has come out to Newark and for many years, right? This has been the home away from home. I mean, I'm sure you came and, you experienced that with Adamek and everything. What is it about Newark that attracts those Polish fans?
I mean, a lot of Polish people live in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
And we love fights. So when we have a good fight on, everybody comes out to support.
And I wanted to ask you about your career. We've seen you in wars, some great fights. Where are you at in the status of your career? Are we going to see you in the ring again?
I think I'm close to the end of it. I had a good run, had a couple great fights. But I have 2 kids, but I want to have one more fight with a victory.
We would love to, I'm sure, your fans, your supporters, see you in there again one last time because, like we said, you are such a come-forward warrior. Your last fight, would you want that to be in New York and Poland? What would it be?
I mean, it started off for me in New York, so I'd love to have finished in New York. But I've been living in Miami for the past 3 years, and I love it there. So maybe the little homecoming, new homecoming over there.
Your last fight in Poland, first round knockout, I obviously didn't go the way you wanted. How do you reflect on that experience?
It was tough, I have some opinions in that fight, but it is what it is, Kasper won, and it is what it is, We gotta bite down and move forward,
And moving forward, you said, one more fight to come as a goodbye to this sport. I just want to ask you your mindset. You were always the come forward warrior, win, lose, or draw. That was, we knew that to be true about you. How were you able to do that? Was that your mindset? Was that your training? What was that about you?
Definitely training. Pete Trimble definitely put a lot of hard work in there with me. Doing pads, having punch non-stop, come forward. also mindset, you know. Looking back at the fights now, I mean, I wish I boxed more, had my feet set better, better positions to punch. But I was just a fighter, always a go-getter, you know?
You're always a good go-getter. For the fights that you did have, is there any fight you look back on and say, hey, I wish I had one more crack at that guy, one more time on that situation?
My last 4 fights that I lost, you know? The Hellenius fights were very unfortunate. I mean, first fight I got caught, and the second fight I got my oral broken in the first round. So I fought the whole fight, rest of the fight with one eye. With Emmy I moved to Miami, so it was like so many excuses, but it's my fault. I mean, boxing is not a sport we could play and take under 100%, which I did, and so I wish I had a rerun against all my losses.
And speaking of your comeback, we're looking at you now. You look like you could get in the ring tomorrow. You've obviously been staying in the gym and working out, right?
Yeah, I've been staying in shape. I have a property in Huntington, New York, the Key Lodge. I'm doing a little boxing camps over there, so I'm staying busy. I'm training Slavik Bohovic from Connecticut. Helped him get ready for his last fight, which he won the 5th round. So staying busy in the game of boxing, which gave me so much.
And I'm curious, you were, obviously nicknamed Babyface, and you were looking the ring. When you had extra weight, was that helpful to you in terms of your power, or was it better for you when you were, more trimmed down, you could be faster? What was the key for you? What was better for you?
Well, looking at the heavyweight division now, I mean, these guys are huge. I mean, they're 6'5", 6'6", 6'8", and weigh 250, 60 pounds. Yeah. So the extra weight definitely helped me take a lot of punishment, Definitely now there's a bridgeweight division. I'm around 235 right now, to 230, so maybe give it a crack at that. But definitely the extra weight definitely helped me absorb the punches and have a crack back.
Absolutely. So just to close it out, people who support you, your fans, how can they keep up with you and find out about your final fight and be there to support? What's the best way to keep up with you?
On Instagram at AKBabyface.
Adam Kownacki, always a warrior in the ring. Thank you so much for the time. And that brings us to the end. I am Curran Bhatia signing off from Newark, New Jersey, the Prudential Center. Thank you so much for being with us.